22. The Mughal Empire. 1526 to 1530. Babur. 1530 to 1540 and 1555 to 1556. Humayun. 1556 to 1605. Akbar. 1605 to 1627. Jahangir. 1627 to 1658. Shah Jahan. 1658 to 177. Aurangzeb. Introduction. A new empire began in India with the arrival of Mughal king Babur. Except for the brief reign of Sher Shah of Sur dynasty, the Mughal rule lasted from AD CE 1526 to 177. Babur 1526 to 1530. Zahiruddin Muhammad Babur, popularly known as Babur, was the founder of the Mughal Empire in India. The term Mughal can be traced to Babur's ancestors. Babur was the great grandson of Timur on his father's side. On his mother's side, his grandfather was Yunus Khan of Tashkent, who was known as the Great Khan of the Mongols and the 13th in the direct line of descent of Genghis Khan. Babur was born on 14 February 1483. He was named Zahiruddin, defender of faith, Muhammad. He inherited Fargana, a small kingdom in Central Asia, when he was 12 years old, but he was soon driven out from there by Uzbeks. After 10 years of adversity, Babur established himself as the ruler of Kabul. Foundation of the Mughal Empire. In Kabul, Babur set his sights eastward, reminded by the memory of Timur's Indian invasion. In 1505, the very year after he took Kabul, Babur led his first expedition towards India, yet he was preoccupied with the Central Asian affairs. He did not have any ambition beyond Punjab till 1524. Then a greater opportunity came knocking. Dilawar Khan, who was Daulat Khan Lodi's son, and Alam Khan, who was the uncle of Sultan of Delhi, arrived in Kabul to seek Babur's help in removing Ibrahim Lodi from power. Babur defeated Ibrahim Lodi in the famous Battle of Panipat in 1526 and occupied Delhi and Agra. Following Babur's victory in this battle, Mughal dynasty came to be established in India with Agra as its capital. Babur's military conquests. Babur defeated Rana Singh and his allies at Kanwa in 1527. He won the war against the chief of Chanderi in 1528 and prevailed over the Afghan chiefs of Bengal and Bihar in 1529. Babur died in 1530 before he could consolidate his victories. Babur was a scholar in Turkish and Persian languages. He recorded his impressions about Hindustan, its animals, plants and trees, flowers and fruits in his autobiography, Tuzuk-i-Baburi. Humayun 1530 to 1540 and 1555 to 1556. Humayun on his accession to the throne divided his inheritance as per his father's will, and accordingly his brothers Kamran, Hindal and Askari got a province each, yet each of the brothers aspired for the throne of Delhi. Humayun also had other rivals, and notable among them was the Afghan Sher Shah Sur, the ruler of Bihar and Bengal. Sher Shah defeated Humayun at Chausa 1539 and again at Kannauj 1540. Humayun defeated and overthrown had to flee to Iran. With the help of the Persian ruler Shah Tahmasp of the Safavid dynasty, Humayun succeeded in recapturing Delhi in 1555, but he died in 1556 when he fell on the stairs of his library in Delhi. Sher Shah 1540 to 1545. Sher Shah was the son of the Afghan noble Hasan Suri, a ruler of Sasaram in Bihar. After overthrowing Humayun, Sher Shah started the rule of Sur dynasty at Agra. He built many roads and standardized coins, weights, and measures. Akbar 1556 to 1605. Accession to throne. After the death of Humayun in 1556, his 14-year-old son Akbar was crowned the king. Humayun's trusted general Bairam Khan became the regent and ruled on behalf of Akbar, as the latter was a minor. Hemu, a general of Sur dynasty, soon captured Agra and Delhi in 1556. In the same year, Bairam Khan defeated and killed Hemu in the battle at Panipat, Second Battle of Panipat, 1556. Battle of Haldigati. Akbar defeated Rana Uday Singh of Mewar and captured the fort of Chittur in 1568, and then Ranthambore in 1569. In 1576, he won over Uday Singh's son Rana Pratap at the Battle of Haldigati. Military campaigns in the northwest 1585 to 1605. Among other conquests of Akbar, the important were the campaigns he launched in the northwest of India. Akbar added Kandahar, Kashmir, and Kabul to the Mughal Empire. His battles in the Deccan led to the annexion of Berar, Khandesh, and parts of Ahmednagar. Under Akbar, the Mughal Empire extended from Kashmir in the north to Godavari in the south and from Kandahar in the west to Bengal in the east. Akbar died in 1605 and his mortal remains were buried at Sikandar near Agra. Akbar's religious policy. He abolished the jizya poll tax on non-Muslims and the tax on Hindu pilgrims. He also married a gal of a noble Rajput family. Later he married off his son to a Rajput gal as well. He appointed Rajput nobles to important and top positions in his empire. Raja Mansingh of Jaipur was sent as governor of Kabul once. Akbar treated all the religious groups fairly with generosity of spirit. The Sufi saint Salim Chishti and the Sikh Guru Ramdas received Akbar's utmost respect and regard. Guru Ramdas was gifted a plot of land in Amritsar, where the Sikh shrine Harmandir Sahib was later built. In Ibadat Khana, a hall in the new Fatehpur Sikri city constructed by Akbar, scholars of all religions met for discourse. Contributions to culture. Akbar was a great patron of learning. His personal library had more than 4,000 manuscripts. He patronized the scholars of all beliefs and all states of opinions. He extended the benevolence to authors such as Abul Faisai, and Abdur Rahim Khan I Kanan. The great storyteller Birbal, competent officials like Raja Todarmal, Raja Bhagwandas, and Raja Mansingh. The great composer and the musician Tansen and artist Daswant adorned Akbar's court as well. Jahangir, 1605 to 1627. Akbar was succeeded by Prince Salim. His son thought a Rajput wife, who was also named Nuruddin. Muhammad Jahangir, conqueror of the world. Jahangir was more interested in art and painting and gardens and flowers than in running in the government. So Jahangir's wife, Mehrun Nisa, known as Nur Jahan, was the real power behind the throne. Jahangir carried on to some extent his father's traditions. But Jahangir ordered the execution of Sikh leader Guru Arjan or Arjan for helping his rebellious son Khusrau, who contested for the throne. Shahjahan, 1627 to 1658. He led a campaign against Ahmednagar and annexed it in 1632. Bijapur and Golconda were also conquered later. Some Maratha warriors, notably Sajib Bhonsle, Shivaji's father, entered the services of the Deccan kingdoms and trained bands of Maratha soldiers to fight against the Mughals. Shahjahan fell ill in 1657 and a war of succession broke out among his four sons. Aurangzeb emerged successful after killing his three brothers, Dara, Shuja, and Murad. Shahjahan passed the last 8 years of his life as a prisoner in the Sajbar of the Agra fort. Aurangzeb 1658 to 77. Aurangzeb, the last of the great Mughals, started off his reign by imprisoning his old father. He assumed the title Alamgir, the conqueror of the world. He reigned for 48 years. He was no lover of art like his grandfather Jahangir and architecture like his father Shahjahan. He tolerated no religion excepting Islam. He reimposed the jizya tax on Hindus and excluded them from office as far as possible. Between 1658 and 1681, Aurangzeb remained in the north and suppressed the revolt of Vandalas, Jats, Satnamis, and Sikhs. Aurangzeb's expansion in the northeast resulted in a war with the Ahams of Kamarupa, Assam. The kingdom came under repeated attacks of the Mughals, but it could not be subdued totally. Relationship with Rajputs and Marathas. Aurangzeb had to march to the Deccan in 1689. In the Deccan, Aurangzeb brought Bijapur and Golconda into submission. Shivaji had carved out a kingdom proclaiming himself the emperor of the Maratha state 1674. Aurangzeb could not stop the rise of Shivaji in the southwest, but he vanquished Shivaji's son and successor Shambhuji, who was captured and executed by him. Aurangzeb remained in the Deccan until his death in 1707 at the age of nearly 90. The Mir Saman looked after the royal household. The Qasi was the chief judge. Sadr us Sudr was minister for enforcing Islamic law. Sharia, provincial administration. The empire was divided into several subas provinces. Each suba was under the control of an officer called Subedar. The subas were further divided into districts called sarkars. The sarkars were subdivided into parganas. A group of villages, gramas, formed a pargana. Local administration. The towns and cities were administered by kotwals. Kotwals maintained law and order. The administration of villages was left in the hands of local village panchayats, informal institution of justice in villages. The panchayat das jury dispensed justice. Mansabdari system. Akbar introduced the Mansabdari system. According to this system, the nobles, civil and military officials were combined to form one single service. Everyone in the service was given a Mansab, meaning a position or rank. A Mansabdar was a holder of such a rank. Mansabdar rank was dependent on Zat and Savar. The former indicated one's status. Savar was the member of horses and horsemen. He had to maintain his salary was fixed on the basis of the number of soldiers each Mansabdar received, ranging from 10 to 10,000. The Mansabdars were paid high salary by the emperor. Before receiving the salary, a Mansabdar had to perform his horsemen for inspection. Land revenue administration. Land revenue administration was turned up during the reign of Akbar. Raja Todal Mal, the revenue minister of Akbar, adopted and refined the system introduced by the Sher Shah. Todal Mal's Sapt system was put in place in the north and northwestern provinces. The share of the state was fixed at one third of the average produce for 10 years. During the reign of Shah Jahan, the Zat or Zati system was extended to the Deccan provinces. The Amal Guzar or the revenue collector of the district was assisted by subordinate officers like the Poddar, the Kwanango, the Patwari and the Mukkadans. Those appointed to collect the revenue from the landholders were called zamindars. The local chieftains and little kings were also called zamindars. But at the end of the 16th century, the zamindars were conferred hereditary rights over the zamin. Religious policy. Akbar tried to include the good principles in all religions and formulated them into one single faith called Din-i-Ilahi, divine faith. Jahangir and Shah Jahan also followed the policy of Akbar. As we pointed out earlier, he reimposed the jizya and pilgrim tax on the Hindus. His intolerance towards other religions made him unpopular among the people. Art and architecture. Babur introduced the Persian style of architecture to India by building many structures at Agra, Vienna, Dholpur, Gwalior, and Tuyul, Aligarh, but only a few of them exist today. Humayun's palace in Delhi, Din-i-Panah, was probably destroyed by Sher Shah Shur, who built the Purana Kila in its place. The most prominent monument of Sher Shah's reign was his mausoleum built at Sasaram in Bihar. The Diwan Icas, Diwan Ayam, Panch Mahal, pyramidal structure in 5 stories. Rang Mahal, Salim Chisti's tomb and Buland Darwaza were built during Akbar's time. Jahangir completed Akbar's tomb at Sikandara and the beautiful building containing the tomb of Itman ud Daula, father of Nur Jahan at Agra. Shah Jahan's time witnessed the climax of Mughal splendor. The famous peacock throne, covered with expensive jewels, was made for the emperor to sit on. Then rose the world-famous Taj Mahal by the side of the Jamuna River at Agra. Besides Taj, he built the Moti Masjid, the Imperial Mosque at Agra, the great Jama Masjid of Delhi and the Diwan-i-Khas and Diwan-i-Am in his place in Delhi. During Aurangzeb's reign, architecture did not receive much patronage. Red Fort. Red Fort, also called Lal Killa in Delhi, was the residence of the Mughal emperors, constructed in 1639 by Emperor Shah Jahan as the place of his fortified capital, Shahjahanabad. The Red Fort is named for its massive enclosing walls of red sandstone.